Hello, Janksters, and welcome to another edition of the MagicJank podcast, the show where members of Team MagicJank get together and talk about things that are happening in Magic. And today we have a fun one. We have the one and only Headology Magic joining us. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. So, of course, a new set recently came out. So we're going to talk limited today. We're going to have draft discussions. We're going to talk about, I don't know if you've been playing any sealed or what kind of cards have been popping out and what kind of crazy anecdotes have you been up to? Because, you know, discovering a new draft format's always fun, I think. Or often fun, I should say, probably.
Yeah, and I'm actually enjoying this one a lot. And there's one main reason.
Oh?
So you may have noticed a trend on the last few sort of limited, podcasts that we've done that I have railed against particular cards with, 70 to 80% win rates.
Yeah.
There aren't any here.
What? We don't have any Sunfalls in this environment? No way.
No, the top played win rate is, well, we have one. The top played win rate on Untapped.gg is 70.8% with Ouroboros.
Ooh, okay.
The worm that that pumps all your stuffs.
Indeed.
With +1/+1 counters equal to the +1/+1 counters that are on it, so it just spirals.
I mean, I think it's pretty gnarly. Yeah, this is one of those cards where if you don't kill it immediately, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it is a
you're good, yeah. Or if it can come into play with no other creatures on the board, and that's still going to be a threat eventually, but not as bad. So on 17 lands, it has a 66.9% game in hand win rate.
Okay.
So that's just something to keep in mind. There's a slight difference between the two. Game in hand is different. Game in hand is 66.8 on Untap.gg. So it's very close for game in hand.
Okay.
But the games played is what we're looking at here. And the it's 70.8. But that's the only one. Only one, as opposed to like 5 or 6 from Dragons of Tarkir and 4 or 5 from Final Fantasy. That I would just run into all the time. All the time.
Yeah, well, the brick walls where it's like there's nothing you can do. You just hit it and that's that. And that's ultimately why cards get banned in constructed formats too, is they get to a point where it's just when you hit it, you just lose. And it's like, well, this just sucks. It's a terrible experience for everybody.
One card and you just lose.
Yeah,
and there are fewer of them in this set than normal, and that means that my bad luck doesn't play quite as much of a I was getting Ardent and Sinned every other game in Final Fantasy, and my win rate was atrocious. Therefore, best of one. It was really funny because I told Akil TV about that, and he was like, "Oh, well, you can always just prepare for it." I'm like, "Prepare what? You're a best of 3 player."
Oh, let me go to my sideboard. Wait. Yeah.
So Akil only plays best of 3. And so therefore, sideboard. And if they have the bomb, like on games 2 and 3, you might be able to, hold removal for it.
Right.
But you don't know. It's just, in black.
You just hit it. That's that. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
In Sultai, you're just like, well, I'm gonna get Sinned, aren't I? At some point, but there were enough other powerful cards that had to be answered that you couldn't necessarily hold on to your removal for the particular bomb. And even if they played it, you had to respond instantly, like have the mana up that turn. Otherwise, they were gonna get enormous value off of it because Arden was gonna pull something from the graveyard, and so was Sin. So it was just. It was brutal. Yeah. So, and there were more, of course, but that had to be answered right away in both Final Fantasy and Dragons of Tarkir. So this is so much of a relief, and my win rate is 10 full points higher so far.
Holy cow! Yeah, that's incredible. Well done.
It's so crazy.
And when it comes to my win rate, I'm going to claim small sample size and not stress it. All right. Because, it's funny. I'm so glad that you're having a good experience with this. Because I drafted for a day. And when new sets come out, I will give myself at least 1 day and sometimes 2 or 3 and just really lean into it and see what happens. And I had 1 day. I have a sub 50% win rate. My best run was 4 and 3, and I got absolutely trounced. Now, I think a part of it was I don't know if it was bad luck necessarily, or if it was just a fundamental misunderstanding of what is valuable in this format. And I had done zero prep work, because we should probably have this this podcast before the set drops if I'm going to do it, or before I have that day of just like going hard.
Well, I do a limited set first look.
I really ought to tune into those. Let me tell you what.
But they are 6 hours long, like for just the commons and uncommons.
I don't well because you're providing like a lot of
Yeah, I go a deep dive into the commons and uncommons, which are the majority of the cards that you're going to see, although really less of the majority these days with play boosters. But they're the majority of the cards that you're going to see in a pack. And so I go and give them sort of I give you a context for whether we've seen this effect before, how valuable it's been in the past. So I'll bring up old cards next to it that reflect what it does and, the abilities that it grants and so on and so forth. And we'll talk about, what they've done in the past, how valuable they've been. And we'll talk about, a respective pick order for them. I'll admit that when some mechanics show up, I have no idea. This is the station mechanic was the first one where I had no idea really how to value it. But it turns out that I was kind of, so I was right and wrong at the same time. I am absolutely correct that if the initial effect that the thing grants you for is good, it's good.
Okay.
So for example, the larval Scoutlander for 3 mana that's a Harrow on a stick.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
That card is just great. Absolutely great. So it's 2 and a green. When it enters, you can sacrifice a land or lander. If you do, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. You can station it at 7+. It's a 3/3 flyer. But the initial effect that it grants is good enough.
Oh, totally.
Right?
Yeah, three mana ramp.
I was correct in that anything that gave you that kind of effect, like that and the Fell Grav Ship, are just good.
Yes. Gravship was one. I did manage to get my hands on this, and I was delighted every time I saw it. And the other one, actually, when it comes to the station that I know I was impressed with, and the speed with which I selected it, just changed dramatically as we went, was the Wormwall Sweeper. This is the 2-drop colorless. That can surveil 2 when it enters.
Yeah, we identified that as in the first look, we identified this as great in best of 1 because what it means is it fixes your draws, so it makes hands that wouldn't otherwise be keepable perfectly keepable. And it's just, it fixes your draws. And then later you can get stations for very cheap. For a 2/2 is not that bad. So that part I was correct in. So I was correct in if the initial, reward for like ROI, right? The initial return on investment was good. You definitely want to play it, and you want to pick it fairly highly because it already gives you an effect, and then basically it draws you that card later on.
Right.
Does that make sense? So you make a little bit of investment in terms of tapping, creatures with a summoning sickness, for example, and then you get a 3/3 flyer later on. So it gives you additional value later. So if the initial effect is at all close to being what you would normally pay for that effect, then this is a great card.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
What I didn't get correct. So I wasn't sure how to value the big station stuffs, like the big spacecraft. I really wasn't sure whether, crewing 8, 9, 10 was ever going to be, without an initial really good effect, was going to be worthwhile. And because I was saying, well, you're paying for that in terms of a potential blocker. You're paying for that in terms of potential attacks the next few turns, right? What if those 3 damage that you could have gotten in for what you chose to crew, to station something, and then they bounce that spacecraft, like, brutal. It can feel really bad when you invest so much, accrued value into these spacecraft and then get it blown away, right?
Right, absolutely.
By Grav Kill or any of the other removal spells at instant speed, or even sorcery once you get it going. So I wasn't sure how to value those. So for example, Kill Ship. was something that I was on the fence about. The 7-mana kill spell, Pinnacle Kill Ship.
Yeah, meteor column, if you
and
will.
it turns out it's okay.
Mhm.
It's more okay than I thought it would be if you are low on removal.
Yeah, I did find myself picking this, higher later in the day than I did in the beginning. Yeah, absolutely.
It's still not high. Like it's still not a high pick.
7-drop kill spell is a 7-drop kill spell, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's better than I thought it was.
Mhm.
And so I was off on that. Now there are a few other cards that I was definitely off on. On the whole, though, I was actually quite impressed with myself overall for how I rated the cards.
Excellent.
And what I compare them to, and so on and so forth. It was a very interesting time to look at these cards. The warp mechanic and the station mechanic, very interesting play. Really interesting lines that they allow to go, and it's just it's really interesting. But a lot of the tier list, like the pick order list on 17 lands and untapped.gg, I haven't found to be quite corresponding with my picks, which may mean that I'm picking wrong. But I or
you're locking onto something that's underrated right now. It could
be. Might be. So, it might be. Like I feel that, for example, like I get that Servandum is 2 colors, right?
Yep.
And is a rare and is good, but I would pick Terra Pact Intimidator over that any day. And yet it's beneath it in the tier order on untapped.gg. Vondum has a in-hand win rate of 59.2%, played win rate of 61.9%, but I would pick a Terra Pact Intimidator at 57.8% played win rate. That's my favorite card in the set, by the way. It was my favorite from first look.
Interesting. 2-1 for 2 when it enters. Target opponent may have you create 2 lands.
Tied with Gene for me, Gene Pollinator. Those two I think are just so strong in terms of just what they do, in terms of my favorite things to do. So Gene Pollinator and Terra Pact, so Gene Pollinator's not a threat, but it is an artifact coming into play, but it then fixes your mana, even if you don't have another non-land permanent. It's any permanent, so you can use it to fix your lands. So you don't have to have another creature in play. So that's the best version of this effect that we've seen so far.
Oh, sure.
And I think it was like Sentinel Hierophant or Sentinel something.
Sentinel Stalwart
from Brothers War.
Yeah.
That would, that would require another creature to tap down, etc. But or artifact, and this was just any permanent. Add 1 mana of any color. It's a 1/2.
That's
so
incredible.
It meaningfully blocks the 1/1s that opponents are producing in their white aggro decks, etc. So it's a lovely little card. And then the Terra Pact is like, do you want me to have a 4/3 on 2, or do you want me to have a 2/1 with 2 lander tokens, which will gain me value later? Like, that's just pretty incredible. So good. Yeah. Reminds me of Vexing Devil a little bit, but it's actually, I think, better than Vexing Devil, obviously, because Vexing Devil would just die.
Sure.
If it weren't, doing the damage. Like, if it did the damage and then it just died. But it's still,
That's awesome.
One of my favorite things. So that's rated in the B+ tier. It has a 57.8% played win rate, but that's really high for an uncommon.
Oh, absolutely.
So I did value it well. It's not as high as I would like it to be because it's my pet card.
I can appreciate that.
Exactly. It's fine. Now, I would like to talk about one of the cards that I very much got wrong.
Okay.
I got this card very wrong. I saw a ton of artifact and removal in this set, and I thought Thrumming Hivepool would be bad. Thrumming Hivepool is the slivers, is sliver pooper.
It's a sliver pooper.
It poops out 2 slivers per turn with double strike.
Double strike.
But it does nothing on the turn it comes into play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it will always cost 6 because we have no slivers or ways to produce slivers.
That was going to overrule it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's still behind a lot of uncommons in terms of like a win rate, played win rate. But
Yeah, this card is so
Still.
confusing to me because it reminds me a lot of
in
like
terms of in-hand win rate.
It reminds me a lot of like Forsaken Monument in Zendikar Rising as this like this is for people who are playing in like Pioneer or Commander who are playing these hardcore colorless or modern, I suppose. I guess I don't know if I don't think it's on any play there, but this is
Sliver
for
decks are like overjoyed about this freaking card because it comes down so soon.
So when you see Thrumming Hivepool, it's like affinity for slivers, and it's this colorless thing that produces multiple slivers and gives double strike and haste. Like, you mean to tell me all my slivers are now double strikers for free, and I'm getting more of them? Like in Commander
and it comes
sliver
down
decks,
to 4/6 because I have a million other slivers. Definitely,
this is disgusting. So
but
in formats where
it turns out it's fine. I mean,
even without
obviously,
support,
yes,
it's
on
still
occasion
good.
you get blown out by an artifact destruction spell, but like
sure, but. Yeah, that's wild.
But it's still it just takes over the game slowly, or quickly, depends. So I was wrong about this card. I thought that it was I was rating it pretty low. It's a B on untap.gg. It's not an A plus an S, A plus, A or A minus or B plus. It is a B. So it is still down there, but it's not where I thought it would be. I thought it was a mid to low mid pick. So, but it is in fact an actual colorless bomb. It turns out, in this in this format. So
I think speed of the format.
It's below Biomech and Engineer, but there you are.
I mean,
by 2 levels. But yeah,
I feel like speed of the format really dictates this. I mean, so is this in my?
Yes.
It appears that this format is a little on the slower side because I think of this in like blisteringly fast formats, like all V1. Like this is just you would never think to get to a 6-drop that doesn't give you board presence immediately. But given that, I mean, people are trying to get their stations online, and there's a little bit of, I don't know, it feels very appropriate that the set that gives us spacecraft feels somewhat battle cruiser-esque. At least that's been my experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the middle of fast to slow. It's 9.1 average turns per game. So it's in the middle of all of that. So it's comparable with Duskmourn Premier Draft, actually.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, it's a little bit slower than Duskmourn Premier Draft. It's comparable in terms of game win rate on the play.
Interesting. Okay.
For Duskmourn Premier Draft, basically. EOE is sealed and Premier Draft. This one has the Premier Draft at like 8.9 average number of turns. 17 lands has it, as opposed to Untapped, which has it at the 9.1. But again, the 17 land users are a smaller group of more dedicated players. But the game win rate on the play is actually really surprising in one way, which is that the best of 3 game win rate on the play for EOE is like incredibly high compared to the best of 1.
Oh, interesting.
It's really weird.
Huh. And
I'm not really used to that.
Why do you think that is? I mean, what would attribute to that?
I have no idea.
Huh.
Best of 3 versus best of 1, and best of 3 is like 0.535 for being on the play. Yeah, EOA traditional drafts like 0.534 for 3. And then the actual best of 1s are 0.525 or 524.
Huh.
It's crazy. There's a huge difference between being on the play in best of 3 as opposed to being on the play in best of 1. That's so weird.
That's not even a stat I would have thought to ask about.
It might be because best of 1 players are prioritizing the 2-drops that they need to stop early aggression, and best of 3 players don't know to do that yet, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe they're not quite as stressed about it.
Because you have to stop the early aggression in best of 1. You have to be able to make a deck that stops the early aggression and can deal with late aggression, late big things, potentially. Or you have to build super, super, super aggro, in which case, opponents have to deal with aggro too.
You become the threat they need to stop early. Exactly.
Yeah, it's weird. But anyway, sorry. So
yeah.
So the average number of turns is not like that special these days. It's kind of middle of this pack here,
Okay.
of like, it's around the same number of turns as, Midnight Hunt, Traditional Draft, DFT, so Final Fantasy Premier Draft, same area.
Okay. Rock on.
So it's not particularly slow, but it's not particularly like, and that makes sense because actually Final Fantasy was doing 7 drops as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Because like you were regularly doing your 4-drop spells, non-creature spells, as well as your like 7-mana chocobo flashback cards, and like, so that does make sense that, the big, it's makes sense that it's around there. It's definitely not a slow format, super slow, but it is not a fast format either. So really middle of the road. But you can cast 7 drops, especially because there's a lot of ramp in the form of the landers. So that's been really key. So that I did misjudge the sliver card.
Sliver
the thrumming hive pool.
Oh my goodness.
So
yeah.
I misjudged that. I misjudged a little bit the 7-mana kill ship. And just like how many times you would actually get that to be a creature. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was my experience with it too. I was kind of shocked at how I expected 7 to be a lot as far as station was concerned, and it's nowhere near as much as I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's really not. Like 2 turns with a 4-power dude and you're up and running. It's like, oh, like the fact that these stick around turn to turn makes this shockingly easy.
And it's the fact that they have flyers, so what they do is they break up board stalls, because you can tap yours down and then attack with the flyer.
Right.
You can tap your creatures down that aren't getting through and get there with the flyer, or and leave a blocker back to the bigger blocker, and just make sure that you're going to get value of this over a few turns, right? You can tap a 2/2 and a 3/3, and the next turn you can tap the 2/2 again and go, right? Whereas you leave your 4/4 back to block, or your 4/5 back to block. So it does create a lot of really interesting decisions like that. But it's really nice to see. The problem with these things is they're never going to see any kind of standard play.
So far that's been my experience with it too.
Because you can't afford to put all that like stuff into this thing only to have them kill it with like a 1-mana spell. Like,
and that's ultimately kind of one of the things that I love about these from a game design perspective. I saw somebody in my chat when these were first getting spoiled liken them to battles, and I remember kind of thinking like, really, battles? That seems like a weird comparison. But now after playing them, I see it, because the cost of taking power, that the primary goal is to deal damage to my opponent, and I'm having to reroute that to another resource. Like, that cost is very relevant. And I think the fact that you can only station as a sorcery, when I first read that, I was like, well, this what the heck? I can crew vehicles at instant speed. Why can't I station it at instant speed? But realizing if I could leave my guys back to block, still block, and then be able to station, then it's free. Like,
it's gross. Yeah.
And like that then all of a sudden there isn't really a cost associated with it. Like, it's not. So the sorcery speed, I think, is very elegant design that makes for interesting gameplay. But you're not wrong.
Really interesting limited gameplay. Yes.
Yes, but you're not wrong. Like, Pinnacle Killship is unplayable. This is doo-doo poop garbage in standard. There's no way. But Meteor Golem is too.
I was even thinking like some of the others are also doo-doo poop garbage that would be decently playable and limited as well.
Right. Well, yeah. So like when you look at cards like the only one that during the early access, there was one that I played with a little bit that I thought was interesting, but I don't think it's, Synthesizer Lab Ship is interesting only because it only costs 1 and you can start getting value with 2.
Yeah, off your other little artifacts, right? 2/2 flyers, right?
Yeah, so that's that one. Like, I look at that and think, okay, there's got to be some interesting value there. And in a similar vein, the only spacecraft that I believe is going to see any meaningful play, and this is coming from someone who spent 5 hours today trying to make Rescue Skiff work. Don't do it. Oh my goodness, it's a trap. But anyway, I wanted to cheese Omniscience with the Rescue Skiff. It's a whole thing. It's the 6-drop. It's a reanimation ETB artifact.
Yeah, that's like down on the bottom of like.
Oh, it's
not even
doo-doo
heavily
poop garbage.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's real bad,
It's
but
fine. It's just not great at all.
it's magical jank here on the MagicJank podcast. But the
I see.
the one spacecraft that I think is somewhat decent, and it reminds me very much of, I think, the glide car or the guide car from Aether Drift as a perfectly fine option in aggressive white strategies, is the Lumen class frigate. This is a very good glorious anthem. Like, it's a 2-drop glorious anthem is basically what it is in mono white. Now we have,
yeah, I mean, it's good and limited. It's what white wants to do.
And this is one with the the vigilance, the Lightstall Inquisitor on 1 with vigilance into this on 2 in standard, I think could work. You know, because you still could attack with your Lightstall Inquisitor on 2, and then after combat crew this, and now you have a Glorious Anthem online. Like, you know, on turn 2. That seems decent. But at the end of the day, even a 2-drop, even if this was just a 2-drop Glorious Anthem, would it be playable? Maybe not. Is the really sad thing, you know?
Most anthems aren't played anymore. They're just not good enough.
Really unless you're going with
enough.
Especially now that we no longer have lethal demolition.
Like in limited, this one gets you so much value because, again,
totally.
What white wants to do is go wide in this format. Absolutely. So, and it has a lot of tools with which to do so.
Yeah, I think this is the most constructed playable out of them. Yeah. Love it. For those of you not watching the video feed, there was a cat stash, and you know, if you missed that, well,
cat stash,
you're gonna have to check out on YouTube because it's as glorious.
It was majestic.
Indeed.
Majestic cat stash. But yes, so you want to go wide. It has so many tools for going wide. This then pumps everything, and then you can have a 3/5 flying lifelink later. So, seems good if you can't get through for profit with one, you know, a little bugger.
Yeah.
So for the most part, I got most of it right on the first look. It looks like there were, like I said, these few exceptions. The surprises to me that have been interesting in particular are the level of advantage you can get from landers. Now, that wasn't a surprise. I really liked the landers. Never mind, I'm lying.
Wayfarer's Bauble's great, but like, how good is it?
So my
it turns out very.
So after I had the two. I had the Terrapact Intimidator and Gene Pollinator. Yep. Those were my favorite 2 cards that I saw in the first limited look, and not just because they were powerful, but because I thought they were great in what they did. The card after that was Biomech and Engineer, which is a stupid card at uncommon. It is beautiful. It made me so happy to see when I first saw it. I was so happy about it. It is so much value on a 2/2 body. It's unbelievable. So basically, it comes in as a 2/2 for Simic colors. When it enters, you create a lander token. So you fix your next, you know, all your draws as far as like,
I'm already in.
You make sure you hit your 3rd land. You're doing really, really well there. And then once you hit 8 lands, you can draw 2 cards and create a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token at instant speed. So it sits on the battlefield, you know, if it needs to, and just accrues value later. It is so good. And I had a deck recently that was actually it was Teamer, and it had 2 of the Biomech and Engineers and 2 of the Biotech Specialists.
Gross.
And you have a picture of that.
Indeed. So
oh my gosh, so we can pull up that deck, and it just had so much advantage. It was so good.
Is this what I'm looking at? No. Wrong one.
The next one, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. That's the one.
Excellent.
So it has 2 Biomech and Engineers and 2 Biotech Specialists. This is a full-on Teamer deck. And technically the red is the splash, but it was really like very easy to get there because we had the 2 Biomech and Engineers producing lander tokens. We had the Wayward Sweeper to or whatever that actually is called, the sweeper.
Yeah, Wormwall Sweeper. Yeah.
Wormwall, right, sorry. To fix our draws. We had the Gene Pollinator to fix our mana. And it was just, oh, it was beautiful. It was running
Excellent.
some dregs in the two Thawbringers and the stuff like that, but like it had some really good stuff in it. So it did have an Ouroboros, but that actually didn't feature that much in it. Um,
Interesting.
it won us one game, but it actually didn't really feature at all apart from that.
Hmm.
Um, so it was pretty sweet. And the survey mechan, right? Drawing cards and doing 3 damage is so nice. Um,
Absolutely.
but mainly it was those biotech specialists and the biomechan engineers that just gave us inevitability, and it was just beautiful. So it it just was so beautiful as a deck. And actually, we did get somebody with the Manland. The
Uh,
card that you can't really read there is Wandering Fumarole.
oh, okay.
So that's the Manland, the Is It Manland that allows you to turn it into a 1/4, but you can pay 0 to turn it into a 4/1. So we did actually crush a game with that. That was super sweet.
Excellent.
So so one of the things that you're going to find in this set currently is that the highest win rate in terms of colors is Simic.
Okay.
And I think it's in no small part because of Biomech and Engineer.
Hmm.
A lot of the cards at common and uncommon in Simic are just really good ROI. They're such good cards. So you have, Biomech and Engineer, you have Galactic Wayfarer on 3 in green that gets you a 3/3 and a lander token. You have the Gene Pollinator to fix your mana for anything that you want to splash,
Mm-hmm.
but also just to ramp you if you need to. If you put out a creature, then you ramp for the next turn, right? Or if you have a lander token, you can tap the lander token, or you get the idea. It has access to Cryo Shatter, which is a crazy removal for 1 at blue. So it's got it has access to everything. And it can literally splash anything it wants to because it has such access to lander tokens.
That's incredible. Yeah. And I'm not super surprised. I mean, Simic, when your color identity consists of draw cards and play lands, yeah, you're going to be able to do good things. That's been true for
Yeah.
many, many years. And yeah.
Well, I mean, in the past, there's been some Simic stuff that has been really pretty poor.
That's true.
Where Simic hasn't even featured in there, like to a certain degree, Duskmourn, right? And a
True.
few before that, like I would have to go back in there, but like Simic hasn't
Sure.
really featured that much. Prior to the last couple sets, like I think Simic was pretty decent in Final Fantasy, but it wasn't, top. But it is top here currently on both 17 lands and Untapped.gg, although Untapped.gg has Simic and Gruul roughly equivalent at 20.5% and 20% across all rankings, but 17 lands has Simic at 57.4% win rate, as opposed to the next highest, which is 56.2 with Selesnya. And then Gruul, which is 56.1. So it's like a full percentage point higher than either of those, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But I think you
absolutely.
probably noticed a theme there. 57.4% for Simic, 56.2% for Selesnya, and 56.1% for Gruul.
Well, I'm starting to understand maybe why my drafts didn't go so well, because I was in black for almost all of them. So yeah, but
You didn't play green?
didn't
You
play
didn't play green.
Yeah,
How
I
dare
was
you?
not in green. Yeah.
However, Rakdos can hold its own on
Yeah.
Untapped. Rakdos actually ranks higher than Selesnya, but again, that's across all rankings.
Mm-hmm.
But on 17 lands, if you're talking Rakdos, you're talking 54.5%, which is again a full like half a point to 0.7 below the Gruul and Selesnya. So it's just Wait, sorry, a full point and a half. Yeah, full point and a half. Sorry,
Dang.
below.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's so
Yeah.
the more the higher ranking players, or the piece, or at least the people who are sort of more serious about reporting to 17 lands, etc., are really doing well with green. We'll put it that way.
Okay.
The 2-color and a splash, just to go over those notes. Simic plus a splash is the highest at 56.3%. The next highest is 55.7% with Gruul plus a splash.
Wow.
So again, yeah, and that's on 17 lands. So it's still, the numbers are all coming in. There's going to be low match volume with a lot of these things overall.
Sure.
And so you have to take it with a grain of salt to some degree in these early days with the numbers. But it does seem that Simic is one of the best things to be in. That will be self-correcting to some degree, because people will start taking those cards and you'll be competing over them potentially.
Oh, sure.
However, there's a lot of depth in both of those, very clearly, in both of those colors, in terms of commons and uncommons that are powerful that you can run. And so it can support multiple drafters at the table. And that is something to keep in mind. It can't support 3 necessarily, but it can definitely support 2, and maybe more. So it's really interesting. The win rates go down obviously as you go full 3-color, etc. But as expected, Teamer is at 56.0%.
Oof. Yep.
And the next highest is 52.9%, tied between Bant and Sultai. So so there's a huge swing up for a 3-color Teamer, as opposed to
Yeah. So green's good here. Yep.
so Simic is very, very good. We're learning in this set. So, but the thing is, like I said, there aren't just so many I win the game bombs. So it is a lot about synergy, more than just like put down card, win game. But it's also about curving out and being aggressive to some degree in this one, because you have a lot of mana rampers and landfall stuff, which means you can get to the 4-drops pretty easily, which means the 4-drops matter a lot.
Sure,
a lot.
That makes
So
sense.
the quality of your 4-drops does determine a lot about the game. So if you can go Zookeeper Mechan, which is a 1 and a red for a 1/3, that adds red, into the 4/3 Kavu that makes a lander token with Menace. The lander token doesn't have Menace, the Kavu does. But if you can make the 4/3 Menace that produces a lander token, that on turn 3, that can often just be, backbreaking for the opponent. So yeah, Kav Landseeker, sorry. So it's a really interesting format, and to compete with that, your white-black decks have to have a lot more go right.
Oh yeah.
If that makes any sense. So the white-black decks don't get the ramp. They do get really good removal, but they don't get the ramp. They do go wide, but again, if tall things are coming in, right?
Yeah, what can you do? Yeah.
Yeah, it can be pretty rough to compete with that in terms of, swinging back with enough for lethal, etc.
Yeah. The other thing
and oftentimes people are getting 2-for-1s here, which means that single piece removal is actually much worse. So they play their 3/3 Galactic Wayfarer, which creates a lander. So if you use your Depressurize, which gives it -3/-0, and then if its power is 0 or less, destroy it, they're still left with that lander, and you're down a card essentially. So so a lot of the times these days, so many things have ETBs that you're not getting a full card back with your removal. So you have to really carefully, judiciously use your removal. And you also have to be putting pressure at the same time. You have to be attacking past the thing you removed, right? And if you're just removing and you have no pressure, you're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
And they will overpower you over time. So It's really interesting. I do think overall it's pretty well balanced apart. Like Simic is pretty painfully powerful, but that might correct a little bit. But overall, it's balanced well. I think you can make a good deck in any colors. So to illustrate that, I did show the teamer deck right now that we talked about there. But there's also, you can see that we've also won with with another deck with turns out weft walking is so much fun. We decided to do it for science because we had no idea whether it was going to be good.
Sure.
Quantum Riddler is obviously a bomb. It's one of the best cards in the set. We called it when we saw it in the limited first look. It is dumb. We did have it in this deck. It actually didn't do most of the work. The weft walking actually did.
Interesting.
It was so funny. But the Riddler was, of course, very good. It's just that we often didn't see it until after we weft walked because we would draw 7 cards. So it turns out, so I suspected weft walking could do it at a really high ceiling and a pretty low floor. Because again, if you're dead when you play the weft walking, I mean, if it doesn't do anything the turn it comes into play except get you a full hand. So if you are playing it on 6, you don't have any extra mana to use to cast those cards that you draw. But usually your opponent, if you've navigated the game appropriately, knowing that this card is in your deck, your opponent is down to like 1 card, maybe none. And then they can cast, like they draw a card and they can cast it for free, but who cares? You got a hand of 7 cards that you're double spelling per turn because 1 at least is free, right? Sometimes you're getting up to 3 spells per turn after that.
Yeah, when you're both in top deck mode.
Good work.
Yeah, when you're both in top deck mode at the end, I mean, what more could you ask for? And so you're right, as you're knowing that you're going to draw into it eventually, you might be more willing to make aggressive, 1-for-1 trades and things like that, knowing that like as long as I can deny,
you can plan around it, you can figure out what to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I like it.
So it is a really interesting and fun card to play. There's also a black-red Arachnos deck that we wanted to show off here, which a black-blue. I think it was, black-blue. I do think blue is quite strong, obviously. We had another Riddler on this one, but actually,
excellent.
And we also had the Endstone.
Excellent.
But the main feature of this deck was actually the combo. There is, for the first time in my memory, there is an infinite combo in limited with commons and uncommons.
Which is insane, but here we are. And
it's so awesome.
Yeah.
And this is only one iteration of it. There's another iteration of it. So basically you have Umbral Collar Zealot, which is a 2-mana 3/2, and it's basically a Viscera Seer from before, which was a 1-mana 1/1 that you would sacrifice a creature and surveil 1. This one you can sacrifice a creature or artifact and surveil 1. So, but it's a free sack outlet on a 3/2 body for 2, which is crazy. And then you have a Voidborn, which is a 2 and a black for a 2/2. Whenever this creature or another creature you can or artifact you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So it drains them for 1 each time a creature or artifact you control dies. And you can warp it in for 1 black.
Yeah.
So no, it's not Blood Artist. It's a Zulaport Cutthroat because it's only you control. Blood Artists they learned their lesson with Blood Artists.
That's fair. Isn't Zulaport each?
They're like, no, it's always going to be you control from now on because that's dumb.
Yeah, fair enough, I suppose. Well, and they do the same thing with like Soul Warden style effects too. Like nowadays, it's like when a creature you own enters, like, oh, but come on,
exactly,
you control, just you. It's like, oh, but I want to get the
but I want to get the when they play stuff. I want to have life too. Yeah. But Perigee Beckoner is the final piece of this combo. You need 2 of them. So Perigee Beckoner is a 5 mana, so 4 and a black for a 4/5. When it enters, until end of turn, another target creature, not itself, gains +2/+0, and whenever this creature dies, put it back onto the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. So, and it warps for 1 and a black. So, Perigee Beckoner is just a really good card in limited. It turns out. That's just to have that effect multiple and then gets you that card later is so nice. So basically what you're planning on doing here is playing the Umbral Collar Zealot on 2, if you can, the Voidborn on 3, and then you are warping into Perigee Beckoner. So you warp in the first, you target either of the other 2 creatures, it doesn't matter, and then you warp in the second, targeting the first Beckoner. Then you sacrifice that first Beckoner to the Umbral Caller Zealot, which will bring it back into play. You get to surveil 1, and you drain the opponent for 1. When that Beckoner comes back into play, you target the second Beckoner, and then sacrifice the second Beckoner to the Zealot, and so on and so forth. And you have an infinite loop there where you can drain them out. The other iteration of this combo, instead of the Voidborn draining them when a creature you control dies, you use a weft something. It's a red creature for 2 and a red that warps in for 1 red, and it's basically the Voidborn, but pings them whenever a creature enters or artifact enters under your the battlefield under your control. So I have also done that. I have had both iterations of this combo, and I have gotten them off multiple times. It is really fun. But you do have to do a lot of clicking.
Oh,
and you have to make sure that the Perigee Beckoner that you're sacrificing is in fact the one that has the +2/+0 and will come back. You have to be very careful about that.
Yeah.
Because Arena will move it closer to your other cards. So you have to be careful. Yeah, Weftstalker Ardent is the red creature, the 2/3 that whenever another creature or artifact you control enters, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. So I have done the 3-card combo, I think 3 times. I've done it twice in one draft, once in another, and then I did the the Weft one Ardent thing, Stalker Ardent thing. Once as well. Nice. So it's very strange to me that an infinite combo would be in my limited format. So I have been enjoying the heck out of it, but that's also so cool. I don't think it should be there. I really don't think we should have that in a format in limited. It can feel so bad. So basically we were stuck on lands, but we did have the 3 black, and then finally we hit so we had the sacrifice outlet in play, and then finally we hit the 3rd black with 5 lands, and I had the 2 Perigees and the void back the void thing, the little dude that drains, and I was able to just get that combo off out of nowhere because my opponent was like, I have a full board, I'm killing you next turn, and I was like,
yeah, well, it's
if I draw a swamp here, you're dead.
Yeah, that chuckle is that's every combo player right there. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I did draw a swamp because it had been miserable because I hadn't been hitting any lands, and then I just been accumulating pieces of the combo, and then I finally hit that land. It was just it was
incredible.
So to their credit though, I do want to hype these people up, but my opponents, when I got the combos off, were always amazing. One of them conceded, so I didn't have to do all of the clicks.
Sure.
The first one.
Yeah.
The second one did a celebratory emote, which was really cute.
Nice.
And then let me do the entire combo, probably thinking that I would get better content off of that. I hated it, but they didn't know that. So
yeah. Oh, that's.
No, it was good content.
Yeah.
But they did the celebratory emote, so my opponents have been class acts as far as when I've gotten these combos off.
I'm so glad.
And the other one, I forget what happened, but I think there was no response, and I just killed them. But
generally, for folks out there, when you go up against combos that require lots of clicks, obviously, do whatever you're going to do, but generally the classiest way to do it is flash the GGs, give some kind of head nod when the Lupin's demonstrated, and simply concede. And just that's lovely.
So here's the thing. If
you're going to, but clicking it is what it is. Yeah.
Technically, the right thing to do if you are being competitive is to let them mess the hell up.
Oh, totally.
Is to let them go through all the clicks, and maybe they misclick and lose.
Yes, that is the correct thing to do. Like, no, if money's on the line, if you're in the arena championship or something, if I brought the clicky deck, make me do the clicks. Absolutely.
Yes.
But if you're just jamming on the ladder and you don't want to spend the time,
but if you're just on arena in a draft, maybe don't, and you don't. I mean, if you really, really, really care about that draft, sure, but otherwise, I will just concede and not make them do it. I think the person who celebrated and probably wanted me to show it off, and thought that I would get a kick out of showing it off as a streamer or something like that. I don't know.
I have
but
seen I have seen people complain
yeah.
about like, oh, that was an early scoop. It's like, not really. You definitely had the like like you 100% have this win. Like I don't okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's fine.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah,
it's just
content's a thing. Like if you
yeah.
have things that you want to if you want to be explaining the loop to folks and and whatnot, I get that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think they must have thought about that, like,
yeah.
and it's sweet of them. But yeah, but I actually enjoyed the first person's response more, which was just to GG and concede.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have to do
No,
all the
that
clicks.
is a very considerate way
Because
to go
I
about it.
was actually worried about misclicking because again, you have to look when you do this, the Perigee Beckoner that has the +2/+0 is going to have a little blue +2/+0 in its text box that you have to see.
Oh.
And it's going to be moved closer to the two other creatures on the battlefield, the Drainer and the Sacrifice Outlet. So it might not show up exactly where you think it's going to be because the first Perigee Beckoner moved from that spot when it died, and then it comes back into play on the other side of it. So I kept freaking out that I might click wrong. So I was very deliberate about making sure that I hit the right way. The cool part was I also thought that Arena might rope me out for doing this. But it didn't, which was really nice.
Excellent.
Because that's one of the things that MTGO does better than Arena is that, and for for certain effects, this is really Arena's a nicer, more streamlined experience. However, MTGO gives each player a certain amount of minutes, and if you need to take a turn to really think, right, or to execute a lot of game actions, MTGO is way better about that, right?
Sure.
Because that rope is really distracting.
Absolutely.
And it creates a lot of pressure that wouldn't be there. And it only gives you a certain number of ropes. So you can't actually necessarily think through all the lines you want to think through or take all the game actions you want to take. So I was really happy that it allowed me to do this without roping. So that was nice.
Yeah. 100%. No, there have been a lot of infinite loops and things that have been legal in standard that never, like there has been an infinite mana combo with it's gone now because Kami of the Kami of Morning or whatever that thing was from March of the Machine it rotated out. But there was an infinite mana combo for like 2 years in standard and nobody played it because it required 1 million clicks and on Arena was almost impossible to execute. Because in order to get enough mana to be able to do the thing, it would take almost bare minimum every time of like 5 minutes and your timeouts don't give you
your timeouts
so
actually get yeah.
And so it was almost impossible to do on Arena. And I think if Arena could have facilitated that, it would have been the annoying deck on the ladder for a while. And it just sort of wasn't. It was a couple of YouTube videos and a lot of people went, yikes, and just never touched it.
And it's like, oh, I don't want to click that many times. I think my little finger is...
Yeah, no, I'm okay. I would like to... I'm going to play mono red and turn them sideways now. That's great. Okay, cool. Yeah,
but this is my first infinite combo in limited, and I've already got to execute it like three or four times. So that's
so cool.
Been really sweet. And I'm sure I'm gonna get it executed against me at some point. But I think I might have been one of the first people to actually get it to go. But we'll see. I'm not sure. I actually have no idea. I'm sure someone else did it first, but it was really early on that we got it to go. So that was really cool.
I love it.
Because we had it in the deck we trophied it with, the Rakdos deck that we trophied with in the early access as well, which wasn't one of those drafts that I showed you. So it was pretty cool. And a lot of times you'll get the full combo, but you won't actually draw it in sequence. So it's a 4-card combo, so it does require some doing. But as you can see in some of those, we had multiples of each. So
I was about to say the draft, the deck that you shared here, you have 2 Umbral College Zealots, 2 Voidborns, and 3 Perigee Beckoners.
And 3 Beckoners. Yes.
Holy cow!
Yeah, we also had some really cool ways of drawing into them, so it was nice.
Well, it says a lot that we're gushing over these, this uncommon and these 2 uncommons. Meanwhile, if you look slightly to the left, you have the Endstone and the Quantum Riddler in this exact same deck. It's like, oh, but look at these uncommons. The Quantum Riddler. Yeah, I know you mentioned them.
The Quantum Riddler is a crazy bomb, and we did identify that in the first look, but it's not as crazy a bomb as things like Meringue River Regent or anything like that. Like that card haunts me.
In Meringue River Regent is a staple in like standard control and like combo decks as well.
Mhm.
100%. This card is just it's
So
bug
freaking
nuts.
stupid.
It's insane.
And I identified that
Yeah.
in first look. First look on Dragons of Tarkir, I was like, this card is just dumb. I don't want to see this card ever.
And during
And then
previews,
it
actually,
just, like, I just got over and over Meringue River Regent. And that was like I faced it like roughly in a 10-to-1 ratio to like actually having the card, probably even 15-to-1.
Yeah,
It
during
was so
spoiler
brutal.
season. This is one of those where I feel very vindicated in my kind of predictions. When the first time I saw this, I was like, this is the best dragon in this set, and it's not going to get touched. And even in the dragon set, I do think this is the best dragon in the entire set. Like I know you're Emmy fans and everything. I see you. You're like, it's also great, but like just raw power and versatility, like yeah. Anyway,
yeah, this card's
but you're right.
So freaking stupid.
Meringue River Regent, absolutely insane. Quantum Riddler, not quite that good.
Not quite that good. Yeah, it's fine. It's good. It's just not that great. So an Endstone is actually not even in the top of anything here.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So
that's
I
surprising.
mean, on Untapped and 17 lands, obviously Quantum Riddler is at the top. But on Untapped, Endstone is. Where the hell is Endstone?
Great question. Oh. Because I have one standard deck that uses Endstone, and I have been pretty delighted every time I've gotten it out on the field.
Oh yeah, it's really fun. Like I think it's a bomb. So and I've lost to it multiple times, been soloed by it essentially.
Sure, I believe it.
The card arts being alternate is kind of crazy here.
Oh,
where the heck is Endstone? Yeah, it's not even so it's not an S, it's not an A plus, it's not an A, it's not an A minus. It's not in B plus.
Wait, really?
It's not.
No way. Is it?
It's not. I mean, like, yeah, it's not in B.
Is it in the
it's
like constructed only like F zone? Like, because I would disagree with that pretty dramatically. But
no, it's really good. Like I've played it. It's great. It can solo a game. Like,
yeah.
So that's why some of these things are surprising me as far as Endstone's in C plus.
C plus.
Played win rate is 60.4%. In hand is 54.6.
Huh.
And I think this card is nutty.
Yeah.
So I think as long as you can get it out, it is, it's going to end the game and you're just going to win. Obviously going to 10 is gaining life a lot of the time after you play this card.
Yeah, well, and I think that's one of the keys is like in your deck, how likely is it going to be increasing your life total? And I think more often than not, in that one standard deck that I have, it's this Boros control deck that I will get around to filming a YouTube video on sooner or later.
Yeah.
And in that one, you spend the first half of the game getting beat up, and then you can use like the transmutation font to cheat this out onto the battlefield and then start gaining life off of it. Like it's kind of insane.
Yeah.
While you're drawing an obscene
number.
To
give you a hint though, that's below Virus Beetle. Virus Beetle's in the B minus tier. This is in the C plus.
I mean, Virus Beetle is great, but like, come on now, really?
It's good, but not that good. Like an Ice Cave insane. Crasher, like which is a 4/4 trample for 4 whenever and has landfall whenever land you control enters. This creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Like that's
it's fine.
B minus tier has Umbral Caller Zealot in it.
Wait, what? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I feel like that's I don't agree with that rating.
This tier, the pick order right now is really confusing to me because I find so many of these cards I pick them way higher than I pick some of these other ones. Like Pinnacle Killship is in B minus. I don't think that's a B minus card. That's definitely C plus. Like that's not. Oh man,
Okay.
I'm having trouble with some of these rankings, so maybe they'll even out over time. And I'll agree more with them, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm picking wrong, That's always a possibility. Now, but 17 lands might be a little bit different.
It's possible. So
let me see
in
if
my
I can
experience,
let's control F.
there's
Endstone.
There are a couple cards I'm curious about on there.
Where did you find it though? Oh, yeah, Endstone's in C, not even C plus, 55.7% on 17 lands.
Huh.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Why is Cut Propulsion and it's still good? Anyway, so a lot of things that It may be that a lot of these things are so similar in terms of win rate that they are difficult to parse across like ABC, sort of
Sure.
ideas. Because like, anyway, um,
Interesting. Yeah.
Nebula Dragon, the 7 mana 4/4 flyer. When it enters, it deals 3 damage to any target. Like that's got a better win rate than Endstone. Um,
Wow.
so I have difficulty parsing this one a little bit, which is weird because I'm winning, but like,
Right. Well, hey, and
um,
if it keeps working for you, don't let anybody tell you you're doing it wrong, But
oh no, of course you want to take
yeah,
stats with a grain of salt, but it is
sure.
very interesting. Uh, the stats will help you and will inform you because a lot of the time it's correct. The Terra Pact Intimidator has a 59.6% win rate, which is I'm so happy about. Um, but yeah, so it's just there's a lot of like weft walking obviously is a B, which is so much higher than that C of the end stone because there's C plus B
Mhm.
minus in the way. Like,
Yeah.
this is just really interesting.
Yeah.
The tier list might be a little bit um they might fluctuate quite a bit, but a
Well,
lot of the win rates are fairly similar. They're all around like 55 points, in the like 53 to 56 range in a bunch of these. And then the only difference is like one maybe little point higher in the C plus. So, um, which does make sense, but also it's a lot more compressed in terms of win rates because we don't have that many like 60, so like 70% to 80% win rate cards, which is so nice. It's
yeah.
so nice.
No. Well,
So yeah,
and actually
that's
though,
sort of the overarching thing.
this set though being so synergistic, it's very possible that those cards that you're thinking are being underrated right now, maybe it's that you understand what decks they're going in, and a lot of people who draft them really don't know what to put around them, and that's why
It
it's
could
just
be.
it could just be the difficulty, the degree of difficulty in building that deck or finding the support pieces that make it work. Like maybe that's the challenge, and maybe some people are just kind of digging their heels in a little too much and not pivoting when they should, and as a result they have these
Yeah,
cards in bad decks, like that kind of thing's probably happening a lot in this kind of a set,
exactly.
maybe
And that
more
might
than you
be
would see
responsible
otherwise.
for like Lumbering Falls win rate is
Mm-hmm.
huge, but the card itself is not actually that good.
Yeah.
Um, Lumbering Falls, it's just because it's a Simic fixer.
That's all it needs to be.
That's literally all it needs to be.
Yep.
And that's in a B
Oh,
plus win rate. Like its played win rate is
sure.
57.6%. Its in
Con-
hand win rate is higher.
all context, baby. It's all about context. Yeah.
So it really is. I think a lot of this set, because it is
Oh.
all about synergies,
Mm-hmm.
and making sure that you build appropriately, like around, various things. I think that is messing with a little bit of the pick order tier list stuff, like the win
Yeah.
rate. Because I'm not going to pick Lumbering Falls highly. I'm not going to
No.
pick it at a B plus slot. But if I get it right, a little bit later, it's definitely going in that Simic deck.
Oh,
Like, and it might be
100%.
going in my teamer deck,
Well,
right?
but a Simic
So
guild gate
those
would do the
decks
same.
are actually
Yeah.
contributing to a higher win rate for this card than it actually deserves. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense as a
Oh,
standalone card?
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think a lot of that is what's going on here with these pick orders, etc. Now there are some, like we said, Oroboroid, Quantum Riddler, and Elegy Acolyte are
Sure.
just damn good cards to just play. They don't require anything else to go right except for the Oroboroid, which would prefer you to have at least one other creature. Good
Yeah.
luck.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah. That seems like a pretty low bar to clear. Yeah. All
yeah.
right.
Yeah. And Nova Hellkite, which is a 5 mana 4/5 flying haste, which when it enters, it deals 1 damage to target creature an opponent controls.
Listen,
And
yeah.
Genomorph, which just just requires you to play lands, and then Cosmogrand Zenith, which casting double spells is not hard and the reward is so great. Those are all A pluses, and for a reason, right? They don't require
Right.
much to go right. You just play them. So, so yeah. So I think what we've concluded so far is just that, build synergistic decks. Pay attention to what your deck wants to do and build around that. If you
Mm-hmm.
get bombs, great, but they're not going to be the same level bombs necessarily that you had in the previous sets, like Final Fantasy, Duskmourn, and Dragons of Tarkir. So, and that's wonderful for me because that means more gameplay decisions, better decks are rewarded, better deck building skills are
Mm-hmm.
rewarded, and the format being not too fast, not too slow is really nice too, because you get to make more decisions and the decisions matter more therefore. And so it's just like it's so good. Now that said, I did actually want to touch on one more thing, which is the wraths.
Okay.
So there are many wraths in this format. Many.
One of which I got to draft
top
a couple
ones
of
is
times.
Mutinous Massacre.
Ah.
Now, Mutinous Massacre does a extinction event first, except it doesn't exile them. It destroys them. So it says choose odd or even. It's 7 mana with double black, double red. So it is a commitment to Rakdos, but frankly, you could also run this in a black green or green red deck, a Gruul deck, because you can fix with the lander tokens as long as you're running green or red. You know, like red has the lander tokens as red as well. Yeah. So you choose odd or even, and you destroy each creature with mana value of the chosen quality. Then you gain control of all creatures until end of turn. Untap them. They gain haste until end of turn. So it is very easy to use this advantage to either kill off your opponent's best creatures and then swing for a huge bit of damage, or kill off the small creatures that might get in the way and take your opponent's big creatures and kill them. So this is a very powerful wrath that is in the format, and it is always something to keep in mind. It is almost impossible to play around, just because that's, I mean, you just got to play your game, basically. So that's one thing at 7 mana for the wrath. There's another at 6 mana in Dimir, which is very closely as powerful. And that is Singularity Rupture. This is a 6 mana with 3, a blue and 2 black. Destroy all creatures, then any number of target players each mill half their library rounded down. Brutal. I have used this in, I think, the early access. It is gross because a lot of the times their library is then 6 or 7 cards, and they only have those 6 or 7 turns in which to kill you, to repopulate their board and try and kill you. Now, note that it does not kill spacecraft, so that is important. Nor did nor did the other one, but again, the other one should just win that turn if you play it correctly. This one just gives them fewer turns with which to kill you, but it leaves some spacecraft on the board that they could then station maybe and make creatures.
Assuming
in theory, you're using it when they've already stationed their spacecraft, but yeah. So this is a wrath. We have the White Wrath Beyond the Quiet, which exiles all creatures and spacecraft. It's the normal wrath effect in a draft where we've had like exile all creatures and vehicles before and all sorts of things, right?
Yeah.
That's the normal 5 mana wrath. It does exile rather than destroy, so it does prevent a bunch of graveyard synergies, which is nice. But it's no Sunfall.
Yeah, this is no Sunfall. It reminds me. It reminds me more of Spectacular Pileup. I know exile versus destroy is different, but like
exile versus, but it doesn't leave a creature behind. It doesn't give you advantage afterwards, and it's not a one-sided wrath at all.
No.
So this thing is just a wrath. It's like it has that extra tacked on spacecraft, which is kind of like Fumigate, which gains you some life, right? So it's a 5 mana wrath. It's the normal 5 mana wrath, except that it exiles, which is nice. But it's not at all. No. Like, it's not at all like Sunfall. I heard somebody say this is like Sunfall. I was like, no, God, no.
I hear that all the time. It's like, yeah, when this got previewed, it's like, oh my God, did you hear there's a new Sunfall? Like, no. Like, I assure you, this is not. And in Constructed.
What was so miserable was not just that it exiled. That's annoying.
It's annoying.
Was that they gave a 2 mana giant creature to hit you with the next turn. It already inbuilt a way for them to win the game after that. So it was so stupid.
Yeah, and so
to give you an idea, the played win rate is 51.4% on this card for untapped. Oh, wow. That's the played win rate. The in-hand win rate is 57.8%, which is funny.
Yeah,
but
and after March of the Machine on the standard ladder, I saw Sunfall everywhere. I have yet to see anybody cast Beyond the Quiet in standard.
Yeah, I mean,
and control decks are more common now. Yeah, spacecraft aren't relevant, so why would I
They're just
want
not
to
relevant.
hit
So
them correct?
this is just a worse
directly.
wrath than others, some
Yeah,
others.
no,
But anyway, but it
the
is
one
in the
that people see
limited. So
is
we've had a
Ultima.
Dimir, we've had a
That's
Rakdos, we
yeah.
had a White Wrath. There is a Black Wrath that you lose. It's called 0 Point Ballad.
This one I have.
You
experience
destroy all
with.
creatures
Yep.
with toughness X or less. It's a scalable thing. You lose X life. If X is 6 or more, return a creature card put into a graveyard this way to the battlefield under your control. So this one, you do lose X life. So that actually is a real cost here.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
So it is really nice in a more controlling deck where you have really huge things and they have really small things, and you can still afford to lose that life.
Yeah.
X is usually not going to be 6 or more for that reason.
I
And so
have
it
hit,
very
I have
rarely
hit
gets
this.
a card put back.
I have had like a clean 3-for-1 where X equaled 1. You know, like when you can
Yeah.
line that up, it's amazing. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. If they're an
Yeah.
aggressive deck and you're a little bit
Mhm.
controlling, or if you went second and they got off to a really
Yep.
good start, this is a great card.
Yeah.
So, but now we've had White, Black, Dimir, and Rakdos Wraths. And there is a Red Wrath that is really bad. And that is down at the bottom here. That is Terminal Velocity, which is 6
Right.
mana, 4 and 2 red. You can put an artifact or creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. It gains haste. When this permanent leaves the battlefield, it deals damage equal to its mana value to each creature. And at the beginning of your end step, sacrifice this permanent. So it is a way to use a big thing to get haste, number one. You can think of it sort of as a through the breach for for 6 mana. To give it something haste, or you can think of it as a wrath. It's just so it's just not that good. But it is something to watch out for because it is effectively a wrath, and or it puts something giant that can attack in at that point.
Yeah, but what are the chances that you have something big enough to take advantage of this?
So I think in EDH this card could be amazing in like a big, giant pooper deck. But yeah.
Or as a cheeky like 1 or 2 of in a Smuggler Surprise build to catch somebody off guard and rock out like a Vaultborn Tyrant or something.
Yeah, build your jank. Great. Enjoy yourself.
Oh, exactly. Absolutely. There's a time and place for this. This is fun. This is good because it's fun. It's not good because you're going to win more games by having it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, there's also Pinnacle Storage, which is when this artifact enters, exile all artifacts and creatures with mana value 2 or less until it leaves the battlefield. It's sort of like a temporal lockdown,
kind of.
But for artifacts and creatures value 2 or less. And it can do work. It can really do work. Again, there's a lot of artifact removal, but this can do work. The problem is like they have to have played a lot of 2 values, which again, this is ramping into the 4s really quickly. So you have to be a little careful about that. But it is a wrath for 2 or less. Mini wrath. And then there's Ruinous Rampage, which exiles all artifacts with mana value 3 or less. So if you are a dedicated artifact deck, that can take out several things at once.
Yeah.
Most of those are like not really that playable, but there we go.
Yeah, good stuff. So yeah, it's funny. Ruinous Rampage, actually, I do think if the Simulacrum Synthesizer deck in Standard's a thing, this might be sideboard tech against that. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But, like that's like the one case where
it's not good in
like,
limited.
In limited, I'm not picking this. Unless I'm in a really hardcore burn deck and I'm willing to spend 3 to pop you in the mouth for 3. Like that's the only situation.
3
where,
to pop for 3 is just brutal, especially when there's a common in the format that as long as a permanent left the battlefield, there's a sorcery 3 damage spell. Common. So
you know, the one other thing that I could think of is if you have weapons manufacturing, being able to exile all of your munitions. Like if you can line that up, that could be cute. Again, that's really narrow.
Plasma Bolt is the lightning bolt. That as long as you had Void, which said if a non-land permanent left the battlefield or spell was warped, you get to do 3 damage instead to any target at sorcery speed. So for 1 mana. So yeah, I mean, there's just the wraths are important to understand that they exist and to figure out how you want to navigate around them or not, if you can afford to or not. And there's just some really interesting interactions. One of the spaceships that I really don't value at all is Debris Field Crusher, but I did lose to the 3 damage, but I would have lost to the common 3 damage spell anyway.
Right.
But Debris Field Crusher is the 5 mana when it enters, deals 3 damage to any target. You have to station for 8, and then it's a 1/5 flyer with plus 2 plus fire breathing for 2. It's just awful in my opinion, but it has a higher ranking than some of the things that I would definitely take over it, like Sothera, the Super Void.
Yeah, which is so wild. I mean, the costs on this, it just feels prohibitively expensive at
bad,
every point.
in my opinion. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand why it has the win rate here that it has, but
I'm also shocked this is an uncommon and not a this reads like a common.
It feels weird, like, especially since Sothera is beneath it. I don't get it. Maybe people are just not playing these cards right. I have no idea. But anyway, so there's a lot of stuff that's still to settle, which I really like about this is we still have to figure out, like, this is still early in the format. We still have to figure out exactly where this what the format's doing. I do like that you can play any combination of colors and still have a very decent chance at, success. I do understand that Simic currently is the winningest, and I think that it provides the most outs to really just power. I mean, it does help that, like, some of the cards in the top stuff are often Simic, right? Like, you've got Ouroboros, you've got the Quantum Riddler, you've got the Gene Morph, you've got the Biomech and Engineer, you've got the Glacier Godmaw. So a lot of that is, and those cards help cast the other cards. So it's like, and help the other cards work. So they're all working toward the plan. And so I think it's just really easy to build a synergistic Simic deck, and a really consistent Simic deck. And that's part of why it is one of the more powerful things that you can do in this format so far. Again, there's a lot of other colors in that top stuff too, right? There's the Cosmogrand Zenith, there's the Nova Hellkite, there's the Saboteur is actually up there. Dubious Delicacy is my favorite removal spell in this. I love that card. I think the art's horrific. It should have been somebody looking really skeptically at some food, like Galaxy Quest, when Alan Rickman's given the, like, beetle, and they're like, we found your, like, beetles from your planet, and, like, he's like, oh god, make it stop.
That would be hilarious.
But yes, it should have been that. I don't think this artwork really sells it was a lost opportunity in my opinion, but
fair enough.
Not that the artwork isn't cool. I love the use of lighting and blah blah blah, but it just doesn't it doesn't quite give the idea of this is going to eat something. Like, that thing doesn't look like it's presented for eating. I don't know. It's just, anyway, but the card itself is freaking excellent. It's an amazing combat trick. It's amazing removal. It then gives you life or kills them. It's fantastic. I love that card.
10 out of 10.
And I love that there's finally Kavu that I really am super happy to play in the form of Possibility Technician.
Ooh.
Possibility Technician is so much value. And there are quite a few Kavu in the sets, so that's excellent.
True, yeah.
So this is a 2 and a red. Whenever this creature or another Kavu you control enters, exile the top card of your library. For as long as that card remains exiled, you may play it if you control a Kavu. And then warp 1 and a red, so you can get multiple pieces of advantage out of this. You can warp it in, get that extra card, and then when you play it later, you get an extra card. And then we play a Kavu later, you get an extra card. It's so sweet.
You know what this reminds me of, kind of?
Great card.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Robber of the Rich. Do you remember that? Because like when you attack,
I remember Robber of the Rich,
you would, if they had more cards than you would exile the top card, and on a turn you attacked with a rogue, you could play that card.
Yes.
And so, like, you could attack with your Brazen Borrower to get access to the thing the Robber of the Rich stole from you earlier. Like those kinds of interactions. This reminds me a lot of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Yes.
I dig it.
Yeah, it's so fun. And one of the things, just a small interaction that we should just briefly touch on, All Fate's Stalker is an uncommon for 3 and a white. It's a 2/3. It's a Drix Assassin. When this creature enters, exile up to one target non-assassin creature until this creature leaves the battlefield, warp 1 and a white. What you can do with this is you can warp it in and then warp something else in, warp this in, exile that thing. And then when this leaves the battlefield at the end of the turn, the other warped thing comes in just as the full version of itself. So, for example, you can warp in the code. Let's do a better one. You can warp in the.
The first one that came to my mind was like Anti-Causal Vestige. If you have that, I mean.
Well, let's get greedy then, shall we? Let's go for bombs.
I would love to, yeah.
So okay, but let's say you have 6 mana and don't just want to cast this. Don't just want to cast this on its own.
I want to get that. I want to get that leaves the battlefield trigger.
I was thinking Weft Blade Enhancer in a small like in a white weenie deck. So Weft Blade Enhancer is a 6 mana 3/4. When it enters, put +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures, and then you warp for 3. So like for example, so on 5 before 6.
All right, okay.
Before 6 on 5, what you have? Let's say you have 2 other creatures on which you should by 5 if you're in a white deck. You should at least have 2 other creatures.
Yeah.
So let's say you warp this in, put a +1/+1 counter on the 2 creatures that you have on the battlefield besides this, warp the other assassin in, and then put this under it, and then it comes back into play. Put 2 more counters on it and something else, right? When the assassin leaves the battlefield, and you have 3/4 and or a 4/5 plus other things that have already gotten bigger. So it's a real way to make your board actually really threatening when you've put out like a few poopers to start with, right? Like a Dockworker drone and maybe like a Honored Knight Captain, right? So this is a really nice way to make your warpers stick around when they were warped. It's also a way to remove your opponent's tokens. There are quite a few tokens generated in this format. Without any worry, right? Because if you use this to remove a creature and they remove this at instant speed, they get to block with that giant creature that they get back or get the value out of it a second time. So obviously that's a use case, which is really important. There are some assassins you have to be careful of because you cannot actually take out other assassins. There are actually other assassins, more than I was expecting, but there are a few. So it's just a very useful little card and a nice interaction there that you want to keep in mind. But yeah, so there's a lot of things going on with it. There's a lot of good removal. There's a lot of good synergies. And so, that's the initial thoughts on this. There's some really cool cards that I'd love to talk more about, but I don't want to talk anybody's ears off for the rest of the night.
Hey, that's okay.
So that's probably good enough for now. But yeah, there's so many cool cards in this. I really like it because there just aren't quite as many I Win the Game bombs. There is still a slight discrepancy, like a big discrepancy in the most playable versus least playable cards. There are a lot of truly unplayable cards in this. So Sliver Overlord is basically unplayable.
Oh,
sure. The Deserted Temple, also unplayable. Contested Warzone, unplayable.
Warzone is hard
Cosmogoyf, there really isn't enough exile effect for Cosmogoyf to do anything.
I think Cosmogoyf is such a perfect design. Like it's such a cute card, but there's no mass exile.
No, I was so excited that there was a new Lurgoyf coming out for my Lurgoyf deck, and then it does everything your Lurgoyfs don't want it to do.
Right, exactly.
You don't want anything exiled. You want your entire graveyard to be there. You really do. Because Lurgoyfs are power and toughness X in the graveyard, right? What the? I was so upset about this card.
Well, and a lot of the older ghosts are symmetrical too, so it's not like you can just exile your opponent's graveyard and call it good. It's just
exactly.
It's so silly. Yeah, I don't. So it doesn't
and it's
really
cards
work.
You
with
own in exile, and it's not even opponents exiled. So
it doesn't really work with
so
those.
Bad.
Well, and even if in a Ketramos deck where you're going to be exiling a ton of stuff, and that's kind of all you're doing, you get one big dude, but I feel like that's kind of the Lurgoyf conundrum. I'm coining that now. The Lurgoyf conundrum. They are phenomenally inexpensive, gigantic sacks of stats, right? They can do that very comfortably if you jump through the right hoops or if you put them in the right context. But the Urborg Lurgoyf is a great example of a card that has been the Lurgoyf, it's recently rotated out of standard, but it's been around for a long time. Never saw any meaningful play, and we see that we have Souls of the Lost right now in standard. It's a 2/2 or it's a 2-drop.
Why isn't it a Lurgoyf? I would have loved it in my Lurgoyf deck.
Souls of the Lost could have been a Lurgoyf.
Honorary Lurgoyf. I should be able for my Disa deck. I should be able to name that a Lurgoyf.
I would let that. I would rule 0 that. I'd let that slide.
Yeah, there are several other ones that are Lurgoyfs too. I swear.
But these cards, they don't have any evasion natively. And so all they are is stats, and you have to jump through hoops to get those stats. The hoops are generally relatively easy. It's oftentimes just, the reason that Tarmogoyf was the staple for so long is the hoop is play modern.
Yes.
Okay, got it. So that was never particularly difficult to get to. But, we've reached a point, I think, in Magic where they did, we are seeing, literal, 4/4s and 5/5s for 2.
Yeah.
and they're not good. It's shocking. Yeah, which is funny too. Another one that a lot of people were screaming about when Stations got previewed. They were like, "Oh my god, this card in Standard! Like, buy your copies now." The Ancient one, it's a literal 8/8 for 2. It has a downside, but it's an 8/8
Yeah.
for 2. You know, and turns out the Stations aren't good enough, so that really doesn't matter. But it is still what it is. I've seen people using this with Nature's Rhythm to like harmonize it for like gigantic things, and that's cute. I like that. It's a really clean way to get a Crater Hoof like way faster than people think you should. So all right, neat. Like, you know, that's fun and all, but like the Lurgoyf conundrum, at the end of the day, something like a Cosmogoyf, all it is, the payoff is to just be a big thing. And so even in a deck that is doing that and can have the big thing, that thing is worth 2 mana, but is it worth a card in your deck? And I think the answer to that is often no, and that's really a shame. Because,
I was so sad that it's, yeah. Oh, the last thing I should mention, though, actually, is the planets.
Yes.
Caveron, the red one, is actually very good. If you make sure that your deck can work with it. That its effect is very, very good, and oftentimes you'll be able to station it up to that to get value out of it pretty reliably. I think that after that, the planets go pretty far down in, value. The white one's fine, the black one's fine, but they're mostly not doing much.
Yeah.
So
that's been it's crazy too. What some of these like. Avendo, the green one, is just like a fixed Gaia's Cradle, but the fixing is having it enter tap and having to put 12 freaking power into it.
EDH loves these.
These are great in Commander.
But for limited, the red actually is good.
Yeah. In constructed, these are solid. Especially if you're playing with like Kona, the rescue beastie, and you really want, or survivors in general. Like I've seen survivors pop up all of a sudden.
And you want to tap them down to do something. Yes,
I can tap it off of my land now. Like it's like that's pretty cool. And that's
pretty awesome. Yeah.
When it comes to stationing, the land can be tapped. You don't care. So that's cute tech. I like that. I'm not particularly high on Kona. I never have been. I've been the biggest Kona hater, and people seem to think I should love that card, which maybe I should. But
Kona is such a jank card, so it should be. It should be your wheelhouse.
Well, and I'm over here. Smuggler's Surprise is the greatest thing ever, you guys. Oh my god, Smuggler's Surprise is great, and people are like, cool. What have you done with Kona? Kona, like it's stupid Kona. I don't know. It's the dumbest double standard. And I know this. I want you to know I know. Meanwhile, in Edge of Eternities, we have a new one, Sledge Class Seed Ship, which is another janky, goofy thing. And it's another version of the Cheetah Big Fatty into play, but this one is off the back of a spacecraft that requires a 7 crew. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this thing? I mean, it's a spacecraft that gives you nothing when it first enters. So I'm guessing that's pretty. So
again, when it gives you nothing when it first enters, that can be really rough. And the fact is that this also, you have to have something big in hand, worth putting in. And you have to crew it for 7. 7 isn't that much. Obviously, 7's one of the lowest crewing.
Not too bad.
Besides the 4 for the little 2 mana 1 colorless. But so the 2 mana spaceship that is colorless. I should clarify. But it's just 6. The Warmaker gunship has 6. Sorry. So there's 2 spaceship with fewer, I think, than 7. But it's just you really have, a lot of things have to go right for it. It's still fine. You can make it work. But it's not something to prioritize heavily.
That tracks.
I can see where it is on the stats if I want. But I don't think it's, particularly strong in the format. Yeah, it's in C+. It's around the blooming stinger mark.
Honestly, like it just being a 4/5 that is like reasonable to station. I mean, that seems decent. Like even if you don't
bad.
like you can do worse.
So it's fine, like I said, but it's in with the like Moxite and Blooming Stinger and Fungal Colossus win rate. So those are 3 commons, and there's the Halias next to it too. But like, it's all kind of a mess as far as these ratings. I don't the rankings really. I don't know how they're breaking up these tiers that much, because these are not alphabetical, and they don't seem to be played win rate or in hand. Oh no, they're in hand. They're based off in hand win rate, I think. But yeah, the played win rate of the sledge class is 57.8%. The in hand win rate is 54.2%.
Gotcha.
So again, these things are they're very different as far as the stats go. It's just I think that's a fine card. Again, it's a fine card, but I'm not going to take it highly, and I think it's approximately correct to put it in the C plus or C category.
Sure. Well, and with it being a rare
C plus or like B minus category.
Yeah, and with it being rare, the chances of finding it like mid or late where you'd want to be picking it up,
I mean, for newer players, they might take it much more highly, and that's why you might get a better card, like Code Cracker Hound
if you ever
Terror
find yourself
Intimidator. Turns out like Sibsig Appraiser ×2 is very good.
Turns out it's pretty solid. Yeah, when you find yourself looking at a pack 3
Organ
or
Grinder,
pack 2,
like
and
mini.
you're like, when you find yourself looking at all those bomb uncommons in pick 2, and you're like, what did they take? The answer is this.
Yes.
This is what they took instead.
Well, the fun part is when you get past like a Quantum Riddler and you're like, excuse me, are they good drugs?
Yeah, it's like, this is literally the best thing in the pack. Why would you?
This card is
No, well, but there was a Sliver Hive Lord in that pack, and I really need it for a brawl.
I don't know what it was. Maybe it was an Oroboroid, but like, there's something there, right?
Yeah, or they
have
it's just
preference, like it's just
yeah.
And maybe they're just pure synergies, like, or pure aggression, or there's so many decks to build in this, and that's what I like about it. You can cook.
Yeah,
especially with the landers.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
The fixing isn't good except for the landers. That's also something to remember, is that the fixing is rare, basically, almost exclusively, save the one common land that allows you to tap a permanent you control, the command bridge. Tap a permanent you control, and then it adds 1 mana of any color, but it enters tapped as well. So again, the landers are the fixing, so you have to be, and that's why just like with AFR, so Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, Rakdos was better than everything else because it had access to the treasures. It had access to more treasures than anything else. So it was more consistent for that. So it was more consistent, and it was more able to splash. And so that was why it was better than everything else. And I think the same is true for the proportion of landers that are in the teamer colors. So that's why Simic and Gruul are sort of high at this point.
That makes sense.
It's very similar to that in terms of thing, but I don't think the win rate right now is quite as different as Rakdos was in that format. I think that was really imbalanced. Yeah. This one's a little bit more balanced, I feel, but I'd have to go look at the stats to figure it out. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's the current take on the limited format right now. Is I'm really enjoying it. I do think there are possible like games where you're just like things just don't go your way and you could feel like you've lost from turn 3 or 4. Sure. That just seems to be the way limited is these days. It's so powerful. Like they're playing, uncommons that have to be answered, right? On like turn 3 or 4, and you're like, oh well, good game. Like it can spiral hard. So again, that means stumbling a little bit on mana and you're done. It means don't have the right removal at the right time and you're done. So that is still a little bit of a problem for me. That means that even though the games go longer, potentially, like even if the set isn't that slow, you can already have lost. You're just waiting to lose. Does that make sense? To actually lose. You've lost, you just haven't gotten there yet.
That's the worst, when the game's over, but it's not actually over. Oh my goodness.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that can feel really bad, as you're just like, okay, well, I'm just waiting to lose at this point. I know there's almost no way that I come back unless they literally top deck land, but deck exactly what I need for 4 turns in a row. Like
and those things happen, so you kind of got to stick it out and to make sure you're not in that 1%.
Yes, you do stick it out. I don't concede until it's time. Unless I'm really just literally just there's no chance in hell. But that's why, to some degree, the turn these days, the number of turns that the games last is a little misleading for how fast the format is, because many of those games where it took 9 turns, for example, on this untapped thing, will have been over by turn 3.
Right.
So it's a little bit more like nuanced than
Yeah.
average number of turns per game, if that makes any sense.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's the limited format. I'm really excited to see
Interesting.
where it goes. Maybe we can do an update on this one, just because this one
heck
is still, I think, in its infancy as far as, you know, figuring out where all the things go and what's going on. But yeah, that's what I've found so far is again, prioritize when you can get the key I would also say is when you can get damage through and your spacecraft is still not near being, you know, stationed fully, you do want to prioritize that damage. If your
Makes sense.
spacecraft isn't going to be crewed the next turn, right, by the creature that you're crewing it with this turn, or the creature that you next play, you probably just want to get that damage in.
Makes sense.
And I've seen a lot of people, like, they have a 9, crew thing, and they don't attack for 1. Like, they just crew station the spacecraft for 1, and it's 9 to do. Like, it's
it's like, is that really providing value? Like,
maybe not, because they have nothing else. They have nothing else in hand. Maybe they figure 9 turns later, or like they'll draw another creature and maybe get to do it. But that 1 damage may actually make a difference when we're that late in the game. So, yeah.
But it's funny, I've seen that same play pattern with battles as well in March of the Machine. Like, people sending
battles.
damage to battles, and it's like, do you even need the thing on the back of that? Like, is that really worth it? And it's
is that going to help you more than the
than
and it is a
hitting me.
really interesting, discussion of exactly when to do this, when to station and when to attack. It's not a hard and fast, it's a heuristic more than like they're more actual guidelines, right? So
Exactly.
there's not a hard and fast rule necessarily, but what I've just mentioned is what I've come to as far as a conclusion. You know, if you have a thing that costs 8 to station, and you have a 2/1 that could attack, just attack with a 2/1.
Yeah,
just
attack.
do it. Like,
well, because you also don't know if they have artifact removal. I mean, if you spend 2 or 3 turns on getting that station up, and then it gets
pouring
blown
all
out
your
immediately,
resources into that, that's a lot of sunk cost. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And that's not hard. That happens all the time. So, like, just don't undervalue the damage you can get in early. Because
the next turn you may not be able to get in for 2 damage, and that's the turn where you station.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
If you don't need to chump.
Yeah, if you don't have a good attack, that's
the
when
thing.
exactly.
So yeah, but again, not a hard and fast rule. You got to evaluate the situation based on, number of cards in hand and like number in library, etc., and so on and so forth. So, and what you have like still remaining in your library as far as big creatures to crew that thing. So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my limited take for now.
Thank you. This is cool, and I would love to do an update. And I mean, you're always welcome, of course. Whether anything has meaningfully changed or not. I mean, come on now.
I have very little to contribute as far as standards is concerned. I have heard that that mono red is now gone. It's not really a thing anymore because of
nowhere near what it
the
used
bans.
to be. Yep. Yeah, people will always play mono red on Arena.
Prowess is still a thing.
Prowess has morphed. So the version, like, Spellslinger is absolutely still a thing. Instead of being the This Town Ain't Big Enough Storm Chasers talent, just trampoline that it used to be, it is now Agatha's Soul Cauldron Vivi.
Oh.
Because of course it is. Yeah.
Yes, because of course it is. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So it's
that
still
means that I'm not going to get a
value.
Vivi for a while, huh? Unless they actually mail me the final fantasy play boosters that I won in the direct.
Yeah, well, maybe. Like, cracking it out of a pack is probably your best bet, because that thing. Yeah. Well, and yes, there is a main meta deck, and honestly, I think Vivi's going to be one of those cards that even if it were to like eat a ban in Standard, which I would not be surprised about if that happens at some point in its lifespan. So if that were to happen, I don't think the price would drop that meaningfully. I mean, Standard players do have it, but the moment you let
Commander and all the others,
of course, and it's going to be kind of like Shelter of the Apocalypse. Like, as far as I know, Shelter's price didn't meaningfully drop when she rotated out of Standard, because all the Commander players were like, "Oh, now's my time to buy them." It's like, well, all right, great. Like, so the demand just like jumped up immediately. Like, that thing happens. It happens all the time. You know it. Like, if a card is going to be good in Commander, it's not really going to meaningfully come down in price.
It's going to be a thing.
Yeah, and Vivi is up there. And on top of that, did you play Final Fantasy IX at all?
No.
Oh, okay. So I was about to say, like, I was about to just go into it, and it's like, oh, is this just pure mansplaining? I should probably check first.
No. Yeah.
So
I haven't played any of the Final Fantasy games. I did watch my my friend play Final Fantasy X.
Okay.
I only saw her play Blitzball and a few fights, and that was
Okay.
it. I don't
Rock
know the
on.
storyline at all. But that's all I saw, and I just remember the music from the fights, like the
Oh,
da
the
da
fight. Oh,
da
yeah.
da 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 da, and like I was like, oh,
Oh,
okay,
and
cool.
you
Like
can't help but kind of get into it a little
I
bit. Yeah,
still
absolutely.
remember that. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome.
And the Blitzball, and that was it. So
Rock
I'm
on.
looking forward to like actually exploring those games at some point. But Final
They're very
Fantasy
fun.
IX, tell me about it.
So Final Fantasy IX is excellent, and it's funny. I'm one of the many people who will say it's underrated, but there are like millions of people who say it's underrated. So clearly, it's appreciated.
So clearly, it's maybe not underrated.
Maybe it's not underrated at all. Maybe everyone understands. Maybe like the thing about it for me that my baggage with that is when it first came out, it had a very like Studio Ghibli style. Like it's the artwork in that is way more anime than the like additions around it. But the story is really well told, and the gameplay is like deep but approachable and relatively simple. Like it's a great game. I love it, and a lot of my friends when I was in middle school or whatever when it first came out, or was that freshman year of high school? Anyway, when that first came out, a lot of my friends were like, "Oh, the characters look like little kids. It's not cool," and it's like whatever, dude, because they just got done playing Final Fantasy VII and like. Because everything in that game just looks super mature. Anyway, so there's literally a cat riding on a motorized Moogle puppet in that game. It's like, okay, yeah, no, that's of course, that's very gritty and very realistic, guys. You sure? Regardless, Final Fantasy VII is also a good game. I'm not trying to crap on 7. Regardless, 9 is awesome. You should all play it. But Vivi is the black mage that you have in your party and is one of the like key characters that you meet at the very beginning of the game. He's just a key part of throughout the entire time, and he is like the most like he is physically smaller than everybody, and he has a very like naive and immature kind of outlook on the world, but in a very like innocent and very wholesome way. Like you can't help but love him.
Cute.
And he just like comes to kind of understand who he is and what his powers are and what the world is around him and why people are treating him the way that they are. And it's this story, like it's a very like moving story about like finding your place in the world. And I don't want to say coming of age, but like kind of, I don't know, kind of growing up a little bit. Like he's very kid coded. And so he's this very innocent character who you just can't help but love the whole time. And so the fact that character, who's brilliantly written and I just want to hug him,
right,
that is the like offensive, oh, it's this deck again, mythic is so crazy to me.
It's
like,
pretty jarring, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a very like it's
yeah.
it's a,
well, the
duality.
developer of that card says it was a mistake. So.
Yes.
As you know.
And can confirm that yes, that has it was acknowledged that they pushed it a little too far, which
a little bit off.
Yes, which I'm inclined to agree with. I think the general idea, like trying to make Vivi fundamentally similar to the black mages and like pinging makes sense.
It's so good, but like
and it's funny too, because when I first saw the templating, I saw like the 0:, and I was like, 0:, man, I haven't seen that on a card in forever. And now I'm like, I know why I haven't seen that on a card in forever. Never do that again. An ability that you can activate at will at no cost. No. Like that's no, that's not okay. We need to not do that.
Do not recommend. 0 out of 10.
No, 0. Make it tap it.
Literal
make it tap.
0.
Why not? Why doesn't it tap? That's yeah. Anyway, it's make it a tap ability. We're fine. Everything's fine. But yeah, it's but anyway, so it's wild. And the artwork, the artwork in the base Vivi art is actually like the stance that he takes when he's casting spells in combat, like from the same camera angle and everything. Like the art direction on this is
that's so
flawless.
Cool.
It's perfect. So yeah, everything about this card is great except its text box. Yeah, like it'd be really nice. It'd be really nice if they changed the way.
For its actual nature as a card.
Yeah, the functioning within the game is a little problematic, but everything else is great. Yeah. Which is funny because awesome. there are many knobs they could have turned on this to make it perfectly fine. Like give it, instead of counters, make it prowess, or anyway. We don't need to. When we talk about constructed stuff, we'll talk more about that. But
we'll do that. Yeah, that sounds awesome.
The Is It Spellslinger deck has become Vivi Cauldron decks. That's kind of the go-to there.
Vivi Cauldron, yeah. I've seen someone play that. It did not look like I think I saw a Nerdy Steve play that, and that was oh god, ew.
It's pretty brutal, and it's one of those decks that when it gets going, you get to a point where like. The play pattern that I've experienced in trying to play my janky combo decks against it, I'm usually like, okay, I'm at 12. They have 1 otter on the battlefield. As long as I survive until next turn, and they're just like,
and there's like, you're not surviving until next
no,
turn.
not at all. And they'll pull like 18 damage
beer.
out of like they'll turn 5 mana into 18 damage, like no problem. It's shocking how fast that they turn the corner and just blow you out. It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough to deal with.
That's brutal.
Yeah. So it is what it is.
That is really brutal.
Yep. But
I don't like it.
I'm not a huge fan either. Yeah.
So the just before we go, a recent controversy with Ultimate Guard doing Harry Potter things and extending an artist's work without their permission and without paying them.
I am not familiar with these stories, so could you break it down for myself and the folks at home?
Yeah, just really quickly. Ultimate Guard is showing their whole butt on the web. They made a deal with Rowling to obviously clear to get the licensing for Harry Potter houses on their boulders, and so the trans community is feeling very attacked at this moment, and as you know, as they should. Rowling uses her fortune to attack the trans community whenever she can. And so it is very easy if even literally Daniel Radcliffe, whose whole childhood was Harry Potter, can call her out on her bullshit and not have anything to do with Harry Potter for the future. Then certainly Ultimate Guard doesn't have to make this decision. And if they had consulted any of it, given that the trans community is a very beloved and influential portion of Magic: The Gathering, they could have done that. So
there are a lot of markets where the business might make sense, but Magic is a very safe space for trans folks, as it should be, and I love that about our community. So that seems
that's one of the best things about a community is how inclusive it is.
Oh my goodness,
as a woman in the community, the fact that the community was welcoming to me when it's just the whole point of Magic is everybody gets together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's the whole point.
That's what we're doing, guys.
This is a game that connects people across countries, nationalities, and ethnicities, and sexual orientations, and gender identity. It's fine. Like just let it.
It's lovely.
People are doing no harm. Come on. Sorry, it's just like.
Yep.
And in fact, they're a large, bright light within the community. Some of your favorite
100%.
Content creators, I guarantee. Like it's just
oh my goodness,
most creative
absolutely.
people. Yeah. Anyway, so Ultimate Guard is doing horrible things that their way. They also, in addition to doing that, the person who illustrated the collector booster box art with Holly, what is her name? She gains a life. She's the 3/3 that gains. Oh yeah, Halia. Guided by Light, right? That show Halia was on the front of the collector booster box, and that art is spectacular. And the artist who did it was not consulted when Ultimate Guard put that art on one of their deck boxes, and they extended the art using AI to cover the bottom of the deck box. Whereas the artist was like, I would have extended the art for a couple $100.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you needed, and now it looks awful, and you didn't even consult me. So,
oh my goodness.
Ultimate Guard is doing horrible things. So, whereas GameGenic, I'm not sponsored by any of these people, by the way. GameGenic released a lovely trans-colored box recently. And Quiver, its Nexus blocks are on sale, and it is very supportive in the community. And
Quiver is a partner.
There are
of
other places to get your.
But yeah,
and MagicJank, yeah.
Full disclosure, we love Quiver. Go get Quiver stuff. They're wonderful.
Yes, Quiver stuff. Yes. MagicJank has Quiver support as well. But I don't think we part of the team are actually directly sponsored by them.
We have a partnership with them. You can get Quiver products on magicjank.com, and I believe we have a discount code. But yeah, keep an eye on the ad banners for those. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yes.
So there are many other places to get your Magic supplies that are equally wonderful, and aren't actively supporting hate. So just wanted to make that announcement. I know some people are not aware of that. If that influences your buying, great. I'm happy to have been supportive of more supportive sellers. So this is really, really important.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, thank you for the heads up on that. That was a headline that I had missed. It's funny. I spend so much time these days watching mainstream news, which very car crash style. I should probably be watching more Magic news. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Oh, I get both on my feed. My feed is a mix of a horrid mix. Just if you ever go on my Blue Sky, it is a crazy mix of fascism, resist, but like and like magic, yay! Look at this cool thing, or look at what this stupid company did. Like,
right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Or please don't put Spider-Man previews in my Edge of Eternity. I want my spaceships, like Amazonian, right? Like,
right?
I want to play my spaceships. Just stop with like inundating me with Spider-Man already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why are we talking Spider-Man already?
I want to play this set and enjoy this set and talk about this set for a while first.
Yes.
So
agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one feeling that.
So anyway.
Yeah. Spider-Man looks cool. It will be fun when we get to it.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
When just give us time with these.
Give us a
sets.
minute.
Come on. I know you want to make money hand over fist, but this is a fun set.
The thing about the marketing for Spider-Man, I get that it was at Gen Con and they were giving away the welcome decks. So the timing was somewhat outside, or were they giving away the welcome decks, or was it regardless? It was a Gen Con promotion. I get that was a thing. Okay.
And SDCC, I think.
Yeah. So all right, they wanted to grab that hype because the way it lined it up. All right, fine. And there's that's a factor that I can accept as a thing, but like the 40 Spider-Man cards or 60 or whatever, however many, a ton of Spider-Man cards got previewed literally during the middle of the early access event for Edge of Eternities.
Yes.
It was like the week,
and
the
some
week
like Avatar: The Last Airbender as well, and it was just like,
it's like, what are guys like? Literally, people have not had the opportunity.
Focus.
Yeah, people have not had the opportunity to give you their money for Edge of Eternities, and you're telling them to save it for the next thing? Hold up, time out.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it seems odd to me.
Which really actually also really hurts the like Magic, IP itself.
Yeah.
Where, if everybody's like, oh, I'm going to save up for that Universes Beyond, then they're only going to do Universes Beyond in the future, and Magic won't be Magic. It'll be like a platform for other IPs.
Yeah, and like Lord of the Rings was such a really set the benchmark and made it clear that other IPs make tons of money. And the thing is, this year, like as I understand it, Dragonstorm sold incredibly well, like exceeded expectations and really crushed. And I was like, the community with our wallets told them that we like normal Magic. Yay, let's go, keep it up. And then Final Fantasy was just now here's all of the money. I saw some good numbers. I don't recall exactly where it was. Compared to Final Fantasy,
I think it was good numbers for Magic sets, and that we would have liked them to take that as, look, we want Magic sets.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it was bookended by Final Fantasy, and
Final Fantasy broke the mold and
exactly. So they looked at that more than they looked at the Dragonstorm.
Of course, 100%, and it got totally overshadowed, and any success we had with that as a movement just got completely undercut. And the truth of the matter is, if you can appeal, but devil's advocate, both sides, it is great that so many new players have gotten a taste of Magic and are into it now. That is cool. And Universes Beyond is succeeding in that.
Can give them, but what are they retaining them? Like once they're no longer doing, Final Fantasy, are they? That study hasn't been done yet. That as far as I know, are the people who came in from Lord of the Rings still doing Magic? Are the people who came in from Final Fantasy still doing Magic? Are the people who came in from Assassin's Creed still doing Magic?
I've heard a lot of anecdotal discussions about people meeting up at pre-release who got in with Final Fantasy and were at pre-release for Edge of Eternities. So that's a good sign. It's anecdotal. I don't have data on that, but it's an encouraging sign. Hopefully, I mean, Magic is such a good game, and at the end of the day, Magic is such a good game that I think if we can get enough people through the door, if we can do the first one's free kind of situation and get in here, guys, people will stick around. I think the right people will stick around, and hopefully the number of people who stick around exceed the number of people who say, "Man, this isn't the game I fell in love with. I'm out," because that's happening too. So yeah, Hopefully the ratio is on the healthier side. We'll see.
I hope so.
I
That
hope
would be great.
I hope Magic's core IP is never fully abandoned. I can understand having to kind of split the carries with the Universes Beyond moving forward. I get
Yeah.
that because Universes Beyond is inarguably successful. It is what it is. But it is undeniable as a good business move, whether we like it creatively or not. It is what it is. We'll see. And I'm also curious if they have a year of dud lineups. Because the other thing about the Universes Beyond is when you're building a Magic set, you have to do it years in advance. And so
Yes, you do. Yes.
are
Yeah.
the properties that
So
they're
the
going to be
lessons
locked
they
onto in the
learn
future
aren't necessarily implemented for a couple, like a year or two more. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like, so are we going to see like a Game of Thrones set next year? You know, like just because they're just working it with a lag. Like, I don't know. Although that'd be a heck of a lag. But like, I don't know. You get the idea. Like, what are we? Yeah, is the cultural relevance of whatever IP they're producing going to sync up or going to remain relevant? The ones that they did this go around are pretty safe bets. You know,
Oh
like
yeah.
the three
Yeah.
properties that they really hit are longstanding institutions.
Yes.
And that's fine, but like how many of those will you be able to lock into, and will you be able to keep up, 3 full standard sets every single year of that moving forward? Like how quickly is that well going to run dry? Makes you wonder. So we'll see.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if they've devoted a lot of resources to developing those sets as opposed to developing Magic storyline, will they have a Magic storyline to fall back on? Like if,
Yeah.
they run out of some of those IPs.
Yeah.
Or if they for some reason can't, buy the rights to some of those
Can't
IPs.
secure the
'Cause
rights to those
this
IPs.
this
Yeah.
Spider-Man thing being different on Arena than in paper is really freaking weird.
That's a disaster. And that's one that I appreciate that everyone acknowledges that that's a disaster. Like nobody's trying to pretend like that's like that is in some way ideal. Like there's no silver lining, there's no spin on this. It's just bad. Like
Yeah.
bottom line. And so we'll see. We'll see. I'm hoping that in the future with that one, I think it was probably intended to be like an Assassin's Creed style set where it was going to be a small supplemental thing, and then they realized, oh crap, it should probably go to standard. Wait, do we have the rights for Arena? Oh wait, crap. Like I'm guessing
Oops.
that was kind of a I would assume that was, or I don't recall if they've I've heard conversations. I'm trying to remember if it was from any official channels or not, but like it seems like it was a midstream shift, and that was an unfortunate backlash.
I don't know. I think it might have been that certain things about Arena, the licensee would, like the licensor would they would not want you to have that right in perpetuity on Arena.
Sure.
I think something about that was worse than paper. But I again, don't quote me on that. I don't actually remember the full discussion.
Yeah, and there were legal challenges with like the 40K commander decks and everything on like MTGO and that kind of thing. So yeah, digital rights are just very different from physical
Exactly,
like tabletop
that's the
gaming
main-
rights.
yeah.
That's the bottom line. And my hope is that if they're going into contract negotiations with the understanding that that is going to be part of the deal, that they can lay some groundwork and get things established so that this kind of crap doesn't happen again. I hope.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And the other thing that I just noticed recently that was actually brought to my attention is that you'll notice that none of these Universes Beyond have ever made it to Cube.
Oh, that's curious.
There's been no Lord of the Rings in Cube at all.
Well, and you would think something
No
like Orcish
Assassin's Creed
Bowmasters
cards.
or whatever would be like slam dunk for Cube. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
interesting.
I think something about those rights, they just haven't come, and then they haven't come back as flashback drafts, like of throwback drafts rather.
Oh. That's also
so
very interesting.
I think they may have gotten the rights to Lord of the Rings, and Assassin's Creed was never online, I don't think, but
don't
they
think so
never
either, yeah.
got the rights to Lord of the Rings for like in perpetuity. I think it was just that time. I'm not absolutely certain, but like
Wow.
that seems to be from what it appeared as. Like I think that's it.
I believe it. Yeah.
Potentially.
really
I think you can probably still play it in Brawl, but like
Yeah, and you can still craft the cards. I think you can still buy the packs in the store on Arena, but in like
potentially,
MTGO and all
it's
that.
not showing up in Cube. It's not showing up in throwback drafts. It's not.
That's
It's
interesting.
just
Do any of
so.
I'm curious if any of those cards show up on like the vintage cube on MTGO or anything like that. I'm curious. I don't know. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about MTGO either. Like, it's very different climate probably.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But I understand.
so it's
I
just
think a lot of those
it's really
rights are-
interesting to see
Anyway.
where they're going to go with all this universes beyond stuff. I have no problem with it as such, except in so far as it might edge out, so to speak,
I see what you're
the
doing.
actual Magic game, the story behind the game, the crafting of the cards that way, the ingenuity behind the design of the actual like Magic worlds.
Yeah. Yes, that's the planes and the multiverse that we have is very special and very interesting, and we've done some really cool things with it recently. There's more to explore still. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't hopefully we don't lose that. Yeah, I agree. That's pretty darn critical. So yeah. Interesting. Cool. Well, I love how we spent, an hour and a half on Unlimited and then just kind of caught up a little bit on the
whatever
hot
direction
topics
we
of
felt like. Yeah.
I love it. It's great. And we do that a lot here at the MagicJank podcast. Fun fact, when we were first starting this show, I was very diligent about having like topics and show notes. And I recently learned that, I learned actually relatively quickly that letting the host just kind of like go off the cuff and like see what happens has been delightful. So I hope you enjoy that. If you do, please
I do.
subscribe.
Thank you.
I know.
Hope everybody does.
It's a blast. Yeah, so everybody out there, please subscribe. This show is available on YouTube as well as anywhere podcasts are available. So give us 5-star reviews in all the places. Share
You get
with
to see
friends,
both our cats on YouTube. So
it's true. If you're on YouTube,
that's
you
a
do
draw.
Yes, absolutely. You do get to see cats. And there are a number of cats that that the hosts, a lot of us have. Like if there's, Carlo or Jaffer, there's always a chance of a cat. You never know. It's a whole thing. Yeah. Damien's dog, I believe, has made at least one cameo. It's delightful. Anyway. Well, yeah. So, yeah, Headology, thank you so much. This is always a pleasure. Yeah.
Oh, it's always my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Literally every time I talk to you, I have the feeling of like, I should do that more often. She's great. Anyway. So,
vice versa, right back at you.
Aw, thanks. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We appreciate you. We'll catch you on the next one. Later.
Cheerios.